morning. Yes, it is ninth class things, and this is the physics class. As all of you know, in physics, the first chapter is motion. And now you will have to understand about motion. And you will ask simply, because this is the first class, which book I should read. It has been prescribed already. NCRT is authentic book, and if you have a Shan book, there is no problem. If you have S. Dinesh book, there is no problem. If you have any kinds of book, standard 9, there is no problem because content will be the same and you will have to read motion, and first of all you will have to try what is motion and make up your mind how can you read these chapters and how can you learn this chapter, how can you explain these chapters. These are the most important points. So first of all you must focus your mind and try to concentrate what are being taught here. It is about motions and it is a special instructions to all of you. NCRT pattern based on activities based. For example, describing some things, some related terms about motion, there is an activity. Suppose you are in class, then you decide we are in motion or not, we are at rest or not. But when you will understand we are in motion, then you will think, no, I am not in motion, I am at rest. But if you take a reference, if earth is rounded, if earth is moving around its axis, that means we are also moving around the axis. This means this activity suggests you motion is a relative term. It is not an stationary term. It is not a single term. Where is a motion? That means something as a reference. And if you select a reference, with that reference, then you are able to define motion. Second thing, now I am going to discuss here. We are in train and train is moving on, and what we see? We see that train is at rest with respect to other passengers because passengers are also sitting on their chairs and we are also sitting on our chairs, but with reference us we are not in motion, but train in motions. But when we see outside from the window of the trains, then we think everything is moving backward directions. That means we are in not to motion without taking reference. So here first of all we have to select a reference, and motion is a relative term. So what can you define motion? You can define a motion. A body is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to reference. Note down it. Motion. What is motion? Very simple. Very simple. A body is said to be in motion if it changes its position without change its positions without its reference. Once again, some confusions. A body is said to be in motion if it changes positions with respect to reference. So it is clear the defined term of motion. Then we are going to explain for the activity number 3. Take a meter scale. Then you go to measures your where you are standing and go one corner to other corner. After that, you measures the this side of corner and that side of corner. That means opposite corners. Then you will find there is some differences between that motion, that things. There is a good examples for me. Now you should go through by this motions along a straight line. Just the activity which I have discussed. Take a meter scale and a rope, find distance and displacement. That means after motion there are two terms come, distance and displacement. Distance and displacement. Yes, here motions have been classified into several terms: translatory motion, rotatory motions, periodic motions. These are types of motions, and you will have to study for further classes and next chapter. Here is in here you will have to study motion along a straight line. Here is a good example for A is object which is standing at the point of O, and it is indications in meter. In meter. For examples, object moves from these directions and it covers 60 meters at point A, and you will find that the body which covered total distance, total covered by the total length of the path, then you will say it covered total distance. Total distance covered by the object. So total distance, total length covered by the object is called distance. This defined term, distance. And what defined term is displacement? Then this object, this is also displacement. Final position, initial positions and final positions. The shortest distance is called displacement. And when we come this side, that means our displacement position is our displacement position is less than that cover of the distance. So here is the second important point. We have to define distance. The covered by actual length by a object is called distance, and the sorted distance, that means there are two positions. Always remember there are two positions: initial positions and final positions. Then you will say it displacement. Displacement. So here you have learned distance and displacement after learning motion. And you should learn here initially, these are two different physical quantity. These are two different physical quantity. Remember, all of you have learned what are the physical quantities. Those quantities which can be measured are called physical quantities. There are two kinds of physical quantities. One is a scalar quantities, other is vector quantities. In short, all of you have learned that those quantities which have only magnitude is called a scalar quantity, and those quantities which have both magnitude as well as directions, they are called vector quantities. So here these two quantities are different. Distance is a scalar quantity, displacement is a vector quantity. So note down, and here these two quantities are the most important. You will have to solve a number of questions for based on the activity number 3 in NCERT. Take a meter scale or rope, and here you are sitting. That means you are sitting in room or ground or anywhere. The size of that ground or your room is rectangular, and you will have to do that activities. Go from one corner to other corners, and after that find the total distance from this corner to that corner, and after that you find the distance between opposite corner. You will find a little difference between uh, one corner to other corners, because it will take from this side to that side. That means this side length and that side length. After that you will find total length. But the shortest distance from this corner to that corner, that means it indicates the displacement. Here is a pictures. For example, I am drawing a diagram of this corner. I have to traverse from this side to this side here, and then comes here. Then it is 4 kilometer, 4 meters, any units, and 3 kilometers. And if we measure with help of a scale, with help of rope, we will find that from this point to this point 4 kilometer, and after that this point to this point is 3 kilometer. The covered distance by the 4 kilometer, 3 kilometer is 7 kilometer. But this is the first position, initial position, and this is the final position, and we have to measure these positions to these positions. That means now it is in the form of right angle triangle. After the calculations of right angle triangle, you find that the distance 3 square plus 4 square, that means you find the 5 km. That means the shortest distance is 5 kilometer. So two terms after motions you have learned. After motions you have learned the term of distance, the term of displacement. Now the second, with help of this diagram you can learn the distance and displacement. Now it is important for all of us. You will have to study that what is term uniform motion. Uniform motion. Now you will have to pay your attention with table number this. It is time indications: 9:30 a.m., 9:45 a.m., 10 a.m., 10:15 a.m. Distance traveled by a object is 10 unit, 10 meter, 20 meter, 40 meters, or here is a 12 meter, 19 meter, 23rd meter, 35 meter. The distance covered by a object, equal distance in equal interval of time, the motion is called uniform motion. The motion is called uniform motion. The distance which covered by object in unequal interval of time is called non-uniform motion. So here is the important. You will have to learn uniform motions. What you have learned up till now? Motion. Define term motion. Second, distance. Fourth, displacement. Fifth, physical quantities. Sixth, a scalar. Fifth, vector. I will come against. You will have to note down this term motion, distance, displacement, physical quantities, scalar quantities, vector quantities, and uniform motion. Non uniform motion. So you have already learned uniform motions, a body covered by equal distance in equal interval of time with help of this data. Then you will define that is the uniform motion. Very important term always. Uniform motions, and a body which covered an equal distance in equal interval of time, that is called non-uniform motion. And with related of this term, then the rate of motion, the rate of motion is called a speed. You have already studied, you have already learned motions, the rate of motions. That means how much distance covered per unit time. It indicates a new word is a speed. That is, a speed means the rate of motions. A body covered by distance with per unit time is called a speed. So here is the defined term of a speed, definition of a speed, and there is a second term, that is the velocity. But there is a differences between the speed and velocity. One is a vector quantity, another is a scalar quantity. But these both are indicated by v. Here is the sign of the v. V is indicated by the s y t. S means distance, t means time. Now how can you measure this physical quantity? The distance measured by meter, and it is measured by second, and thus the SI unit of a speed is meter per second. SI unit of the meter per second. It is the most important. Now it is the other term related with a number of examples will be comes here, and I will give a number of examples to sum this, to solve this, and there are a number of examples given in your books. If not, I am giving here some examples. And average speed, it is very valuable things. It is very important things. Every term is very important, but now here is some twisting for general students, for simple students who are not understanding what is the average speed. Total distance covered by a body by total time taken is called average speed. This is the most important, meter per second. Total distance covered and total time taken. Total distance covered by body total time taken. Very important. And pay your attention. Before this, before I start motions, there is chapters, unit and measurement. And after that, what types of problem with you? You will ask me about the measurements because conversation is necessary. And 6 unit which are the fundamentals, you must convert that unit in SI unit. SI unit, the SI unit of distance is meter, the SI unit of mass is kilogram, the SI unit of time in second. These are the 3 most important: meter, kilogram and second. Even the mass of electron is measured in kilogram. It is about 10 to the power minus 31 kilogram. Even the distance between Earth to Sun is measured in meter, that is kilometer, and even the time is measured in second, 3 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So these are the important. So here is the term total distance covered by a body and total time taken. Now, with related this non-informations, we have learned a speed and average speed. A speed a speed. Now, one important term comes: velocity. Now, you ate an extra words. If a speed in a specific direction, it becomes velocity. When a speed travels in a specific directions, it became velocity. That means velocity is a vector quantity. Both are the same. That if you have understood distance, displacement, motions, non-uniform motion, then you have already understood the speed and average speed. And if you are understood a speed and average speed, then you are in positions to understand about the velocity. There is nothing in a speed, but we will have to add a specific direction. It became a speed. But here is a, then what is the SI unit of velocity? The SI unit of velocity is the same, V and S by T, where a speed, it is covered by not distance, it is covered by displacement. Displacement and time. Displacement and time. So the SI unit displacement is meter and time is second, meter per second. Meter per second. Velocity, displacement, meter per second. So against the another term, average velocity. Average velocity. Once again, in average speed, we have learned the covered by total distance by total time taken. But here is covered displacement, total covered the total displacement by total time taken, and informally you will have you will add, that is initial velocity, initial velocity plus final velocity by time taken. Taken. That means initial velocity is indicated by u plus v by t. Here is the formula first. Then we will have to, it is called average velocity. Now average velocity, and now it is turn other accelerations. Accelerations. It is the important term for all of us. The rate of change of velocity is called accelerations. That means acceleration is indicated by a, and the rate of change of velocity v minus u by t. This is called the accelerations, and the rate of change of velocity is called accelerations. The SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square, and with help of this you are able in positions to deduct many formula. That means there are three. The most important formula is barabar ut plus half at square, v barabar ut plus half at. For example, at equal to v minus u, and after that you will solve v equal to u plus at. So after all, for this first class you have understand motions, distance, displacement, physical quantities, scalar, vector, uniform motions, non-uniform motion, speed, average speed, velocity, average velocity, accelerations. So all of you have understood these terms, and if you are positions to understand, no doubt you are going to learn physics smoothly manners. There is a only one thing most important: you must fix a routines and pay your attentions again and again. Then I will teach you in the next class with help of graphic computer.